Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Producer Dave.
Finally getting around to reviewing what everyone else on the internet has already reviewed, Ready Player One.
We're finally ready.
Yeah, we're finally ready for Player One. Guys, we are finally going to talk about this movie, so since...
Full spoilers.
Yeah, full spoilers at this point. I mean, it's been out for over a month, and I know everyone's moved on to Avengers and all that stuff, but... hell, not many people were actually interested in the movie to begin with because it didn't make that much money.
Well, yeah. I don't think it was what everybody expected it to be. Maybe.
I don't know what they would have expected it to be. Yeah, I mean, it still ended up being a bit of a Willy Wonka tale, a lot of a Willy Wonka tale.
Yeah.
But it was not in its entirety the book at all. Like
right.
A lot was changed. A lot was changed.
It's like, I heard it was like a condensed kind of snack-sized version of the information that was
very much
derived
so,
from
and the challenges weren't even the same.
Yeah.
You know, like so that was a little bit different. I mean, one might have been, but the race was not. Yeah. So there was some differences, but I knew that was going to be the case going in because I had heard that there were differences from the book. It was almost like a different experience. Go into it as a different experience. Don't go into it as like a total book loyalist.
Yeah.
Because that can ruin it for you. And so I did so. And so I enjoyed the movie. I did enjoy the movie, but it definitely wasn't the book. There was some romance. You're
coming from the perspective of having read the book, and I haven't read the book, so I'll give my opinion on the film.
Go ahead. Your overall.
So I actually really enjoyed the film overall. I never read the book, and I didn't listen to it on audiobook either, so to me it felt like a condensed story. Like there could have been so much more that they told in this story, but they only have a limited amount of time, they have a limited budget, so they've got to make it as cool as possible in the time that they have. I feel like it felt like a real multiplayer verse. You know what I mean? Like, it felt real enough that all these people had these different skins and these different items, and like bringing up stuff with the menus and everything like that. All of that felt very natural, very cool. I enjoyed all of the special effects for the most part. There was a little bit of Transformers, too much to see on the screen at the one time, and you're just like, I gotta watch this frame by frame.
Yeah, literally.
But I think overall it was a good story. It was very Willy Wonka. And but that's okay, because that's a great story. That's a great story of, you know, sometimes it's better to have this great huge corporation become owned by the people who love it rather than the people who want to control it. The bad guys, the bad guys could have been badder. The good guys could have been cooler. You know, they could have done a couple of things. There were a couple of things that I predicted watching the film that came true, like that his friend ended up being a girl.
Yeah.
And I love that actress. Her name. And then. All
right. Which one? The one that ended up being.
Yeah, his H.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Iron Giant at the end.
Yeah.
So.
No, that was a good reveal.
And then not only that, but then incorporating all of the stuff that we all love from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, all the way up till now, because there's just so much in there. Some of the big ones are obviously like all the Universal ones. There's Jaws. There's
was Jaws in there?
Yeah, they had him at one point flying out of the sky.
Really?
Yeah, it was so quick. There's like so much stuff going on. I could be wrong about that. But there's 1,100 of them in there, so... I think there's King Kong.
King Kong the T-Rex.
The T-Rex.
From Jurassic Park.
There's all the aliens.
Which makes
references.
sense, because of... there's an alien reference. There was a big cameo of Goro from Mortal Kombat, which was awesome.
Wait, we can do Goro?
Yeah. No, so there. I mean, God, if we'll go through the cameos later on. But so overall you enjoyed it though.
Yeah, overall I would give it like an A. Like I thought it was a great Spielberg movie. Some people are hating on Spielberg, but you know what? I think one of the things that he's always trying to do is like refine his audience. Like it always seems like he's searching for an audience that he hasn't found yet. But But we're still there. Like, we still want to see these fantasy movies that he makes.
Well, he's developed different kinds of audiences the whole time. But now, you know, there's so much media out there that we as a society are being a little more choosy than we used to be. Like, I don't see every Spielberg movie anymore.
Yeah.
Because I don't like all the true life spy ones that he's been doing and things like that.
Bridge of Spies was pretty good.
It doesn't do anything for me.
Good.
So,
I'll stick
with the Ready Player ones because I enjoyed it. Like I said, there were many different things, and I thought a lot was very rushed in the movie, but it was still an enjoyable, like, visual feast. There was a lot going on, and I would be just as happy watching it on, like, 1/2 to 1/3 speed.
Right. Certain parts, frame by frame.
Yeah. Well, God, so many parts.
Yeah.
So many parts, just to see all the different kinds of cars in the race.
Well, and that's the thing.
Bigfoot.
That I was so surprised about.
My favorite monster truck.
That's true.
Love that.
There's the film is an animated film, and it's got real life parts.
Correct.
You know,
correct.
But it's essentially, I'd say 50% or more of the film
movie.
takes place in this Avatar-like environment.
Yeah, but it's not. It does not feel on the level of Avatar, though.
No,
not to me.
No,
I didn't see it in 3D.
Felt like a video game.
Did you see it in 3D?
No, I didn't see it.
I didn't see it in 3D.
It felt like a video game, though.
It did feel like a video game. Yeah, no, and actually that was a really fun part. The thing that would have been really neat to see had it been the first time we'd seen it was everyone bursting into coins.
Right.
I was like, that would be it's still really cool. It was great 10 years ago when Scott Pilgrim did it. But now it's still just as cool.
I liked the scooping up.
The scooping it up and putting it into the gas tank, like that was neat. Yeah, the way they'd interact with everything.
He'd buy like weapons or whatever.
Yeah, that was really cool. Like I like that, and I love that that at one point he buys a Zemeckis cube, and I was like, the Zemeckis cube, and then he uses it, and he's like, it'll turn it back, 60 seconds. And then when he throws it, it plays the Back to the Future theme for just a couple of seconds. And then, it rewinds time 60 seconds. And I had, because I saw it with my mom, actually. And because we both listened to the book together while driving to Texas to visit our family. And so I told her, I was like, did you realize what the Zemeckis cube was? And she was like, no. I was like, Robert Zemeckis directed Back to the Future, and they went back in time 60 seconds essentially. She was like, oh, I was like, yeah, there was a lot of that in there, down to like weapon cameos.
Yeah,
like there were weapons that
Halo
from Halo.
Master Chief and some friends showed up.
Yeah, but yeah, the railgun from Halo, and then the Lancer from Gears of War.
Right.
Artemis pulls out the Lancer at one point with the grinder on the bottom of it. God, I mean, just seeing that stuff, I was like, oh yeah, like there was some really neat stuff. Of course, my absolute favorite part was the part that you took note of for me. Was it actually was the only F word in the entire movie.
Yeah.
And that was when one of the items that our main character uses is they're driving and
you took them all out. I was gonna say there's Chucky DVDs over there.
Oh yeah, I did. No, he literally throws a Chucky bomb at the Sixers, which are the bad guys, and he's like, it's actually. It sounds like Brad Dourif's voice. If it's not, I think it might be though. And like, one of the guys catches it. One of the bad guys catches it. He's like, "It's effing Chucky!" And he just like throws it, and Chucky just starts killing guy after guy after guy. It was so awesome.
Fantastic.
I mean, we can cover this on the horror show because Chucky was in it, Freddy was in it, Jason was in it.
Yeah.
Like there all kinds of horror properties pop up throughout the movie. Aliens, Predator was probably in there. I mean, during those big sequences, there's no counting how many different things you're going to be able to see. Yeah, the Gundam. I mean, Mega Godzilla. People might consider Godzilla a movie like that, but special throwback stuff. One of my absolute favorite animated movies of all time was The Iron Giant.
Yeah.
And The Iron Giant actually played a pretty big role. And I think it sounded to me like they got Vin Diesel to come back to grunt and do a couple things like that as the Giant, which would be awesome if they did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, dude, just the nostalgia factor alone in this movie had it at like an 8 to a 9, and he just didn't need to screw it up, and he didn't.
And only someone like Spielberg is going to get that permission from those people.
I mean, that's got to be hard to do, except
it's Spielberg. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like when they go to the people and say, "Hey, we want to license your thing for this film," they're like, "Oh, who's directing?" Well, it's Spielberg. So
yeah.
All right, I'll rent you that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's
it was really good. It's worth watching.
Now let's talk about the acting.
All right.
I thought the main guy was a little wooden.
Yeah.
But everyone else was great.
Like
everyone else were all like characters.
The good guy could have been gooder.
Yeah, the bad guy and the main guy both could have been improved. Mm-hmm. I think the bad guy was channeling his inner Hugo Weaving from The Matrix. You know what I mean? Trying to, and it was not working very well. And his weird like Superman like huge suited avatar was a little strange too. Like I can't remember what that guy is from. He might be from something, he might not, but nonetheless, like I liked how a sidetrack again. I liked how all that switching stuff works. Like they literally bring up the menu, and he's just like, "I'm going to change my hair," or like, "Here's a disguise," you know, you throw this on, you know, and all this stuff. It's like so that, cool how it works.
Where they like just threw it on his face like that.
Yeah. Really cool. So acting for you.
So the interaction and the acting between the special effects and the acting for the most part was really good. Then I think they did a lot of motion capture for the actors when they're in their avatar forms.
Right.
So for the most part, the acting in the real world I thought was just fine. It wasn't above, like I said, it wasn't below. It was fine. It was fine. It worked. And
it's still kind of silly to me, though, by the way, that
it's a kids' movie.
That Artemis was like worried. She's like, "I'm not like my avatar. I don't look like this in real life. You know, I have a flaw. You know." And she's got this like this badass like God of War birthmark over her eye like this, and that's it. Like she's literally great body, great looks, like, you know, beautiful hair, like awesome chick. Like what are you talking about? This is so ridiculous.
Everybody has their thing.
Hollywood, man. It's Hollywood. She's supposed to be like a thicker gal. In the book, she's like a thicker gal. That's the whole point. And he loves her anyway. Like that's the moral of it. You know, it doesn't matter what you actually look like, and that's why she framed herself as not that. You know, like that actually lands when you actually play that out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It means that it gives your hero that extra layer of not caring on a superficial level. You know what I mean? Sure, they tried to play that card with like the next to impossible to see a birthmark, but no, you got to hammer it home, and you should have stuck with the way that went in the book, in my opinion. But anyway, I thought the love story was convenient. I thought that was way too rushed.
I was really worried that there was going to be some sort of love triangle when H revealed herself.
I was kind of worried about that too.
But overall, I think they did a really nice job of. You know, it's a teen story. It's such a teen story. So that's, I mean,
I did like Great and Powerful Og, which is what they call him in the book.
Yeah.
Simon Pegg, when he shows up, really does like an excellent job, especially, you know, when he shows up at a particular point. I won't say when, but he really knocks it out in that scene, and I really felt for him. He almost brought me to tears, and I'm like, dude, Simon Pegg like really is a talent, dude. He's so good. And now he's on like a bunch of different franchises. He's on Star Trek. He's on Mission Impossible. Yeah, it's like numbers of movies now. Star Wars too. Yeah.
But I was going to say this: if you're a fan of Spielberg and the directing of that Spielberg does, kind of bridging our way into the cinematography.
Right.
There are beautiful Spielbergisms throughout the shot, throughout the film that incorporate the entire scene into what seems like multiple shots, but it's really only one shot, and it's just so well crafted. And he's got his Academy Award, 5-time Academy Award winning cinematographer, so it's all beautiful.
Yeah.
The lighting and the set.
Well, most of it is digitally created environments. Most of it.
Right. But
which is fine.
Yeah.
They do well enough, like with that ballroom scene, the in the air dancing, and like all the racing, all that stuff. Like it's really beautiful to look at, cinematography wise. But it's because they're able to literally create it, which is fine. It's fine.
And one of the things that Cameron was doing in Avatar was they build the environment, and then they put the camera guy in the room so he can actually.
Well, and actually, no, they for some of it at least, I have on the Avatar Blu-ray that Cameron was actually in an empty room, an empty green screen room, and he would walk around and sort of track the shot he would want and then they would build the 3D environment around that shot. And it's like, oh, that's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
I'm sure they did stuff like that in
Similar,
Mesa.
yeah.
I'm absolutely sure.
Because it was such an immersive environment, and there was incredibly, probably at least 12,000 or more special effects shots.
Oh my god, probably way more at this point.
So, if you like special effects movies, if you like Spielberg's style, because his style does come through in a lot of the scenes. And so, so for that reason alone, like the cinematography was great. We kind of have talked about the special effects a bunch of, points already.
Yeah, I mean, some hit, some miss.
Yeah, there were some moments where it was just too much on the screen at one time.
It just felt like, honestly, it just switched from... It felt like it was switching from live action to, like, some of the best-looking CG anime that you can find.
Yeah.
And that's... that's not bad. That's not a bad thing. It's cool. I like really good anime, and I like it especially if it's really good CG.
Yeah.
And so it was really good CG. Spielberg wouldn't put his name on it if it wasn't, but it was all clearly CG.
Yeah.
Like you don't get fooled for a moment into thinking any of it is real. But I don't think that's what they're going for. They're going for that slightly surreal look of the Oasis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and ultimately it is a video game, so it's okay if it looks a little CG because it would look a little CG.
Right.
So I thought that was what was also made it different than The Matrix and a couple other like similar vein stories that have come out. So it was different enough, plot-wise and story-wise, and the acting and the special effects and everything I think came through okay. And ultimately, I did enjoy the movie. I'd probably watch it again. Oh,
I will absolutely. Like you said, frame by frame, or at least in like slowed down by like 1/3 speed.
Right.
Yeah.
So that.
Yeah, I think that covers it. Yeah. Guys, let us know in the comments down below. Did you watch Ready Player One? What did you think of Ready Player One? Again, we excuse this review because there was a lot of horror in it. A lot of horror icons at the very least.
Freddy,
no matter how quickly they were there, they were there. And Chucky had the best moment of the entire movie.
Best moment in the film.
You absolutely can't argue that we can cover this on this channel. Haha. So, thanks very much for watching. Like I said, let us know in the comments down below if you did watch it, what you thought. If you haven't watched it yet, why, and or why not. So, again, until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
I've been Producer Dave.
And remember, stay scared.